Good evening. During my 30 years plus of mountaineering across the world, it hasn't always been ice and snow. I have climbed through some jungles and some very dry places, some very wet places too. And in 2005, I found myself in Asia climbing Mount Kinabalu. Now, the peak itself is incredibly popular. Tens of thousands of people every year go up her and look at the dawn. And it's one of the things we really like to do as mountaineers, is to be on the summit for dawn and to watch the sunrise over a beautiful vista that is laid out before us. The one thing you will also notice on temperate and jungle peaks are the changes of atmosphere, of flora and of fauna. And Kinabalu and the general area there in Borneo is well known for its beautiful wildlife and the plants that change by altitude. You'll see this in many parts of the world. The higher you go, the more different the plants are, perhaps smaller because of the climate, and you might only find them on one or two peaks in the world. So appreciate them if you do see them, and don't touch them. My approach to Kinabalu, however, wasn't easy. And I say that because I nearly drowned. The boat that I was in with the rest of the team struck a rock and rolled in a set of rapids. And I can vividly remember, even now, the bump as we hit the stone, the rolling of the boat, the plunging into the water. It all seemed to happen in seconds, but it felt like slow motion hours. Being plunged deep underwater and watching the propeller of the outboard motor go over the top of my head. I surfaced, went back under, surfaced, went back under, and felt an arm grab me and drag me onto a rock in this bizarre noise of gurgling, screaming, more gurgling, crying, shouting. And as I sat on the rock, trying to compose myself and to work out what on earth had been going on, another boat entered the rapids and could not stop. And this boat was headed straight for me. And if it had hit me, it would have torn me clean in half somewhere just above the pelvis. And somehow I lifted the front of that boat up and pushed it out the way and saw it go past me only a few inches from me. And I can remember it distinctly, the look of fear in the lady's eyes as the front passenger stared at me thinking, we are going to kill this man. And as she passed me by, the look of relief and fear and pain as she realised they weren't going to kill me or hit me, but it was a close run thing. All of our equipment was soaked, we were soaked, we took mouthfuls of high quality Bornean river water, which I can assure you does no good for your insides at all. And yet only a few days later, I was on Kinabalu with hundreds of other people climbing this lovely peak. Cheers. And so here is my letter from Kinabalu in 2005. Dear KB, you're a strange one. You rise above a sea of green, which is filled with things that sting and bite. Don't you think a good clean is overdue? I still struggle to understand if you wanted me to meet me or not, as you tried to drown me with your smothering waters. I was lucky to survive, but took a few too many mouthfuls of your intoxicating liquor, which did my insides no good at all. Still, I was desperate to see you, and sneaked closer overnight before the rising sun could cast my long shadow across your heights. I stood on your summit as the coming dawn shone bright beams across your lines, casting your curves over the green below. We shared some lovely pictures, and when I parted, I felt a great peace engulf me. I do hope that you find the time to respond to this letter, and pray that your heart will be as open as you write. I know you're popular and always busy with people in the daytime, but a little ink on a simple sheet would mean more than words could say. Good night.